he was so fired up that he had reignited that thing inside of him that existed when he was the best in the world.
Yeah.
And that force that caused him to try to achieve greatness was back. And he was fit, and he was in the middle of training, and he was all in on this Roy Jones Jr. fight.
So Mike Tyson just sent out a tweet, right? But I want you guys to remember this. Remember, these two were supposed to fight. Jake and Mike Tyson were supposed to schedule a fight in July. And remember, it got pushed back due to Mike Tyson's health. We all forgot that, right? So when we listen to this tweet, we understand why the fight went the way it did.
It just hurt me to see Mike there in that situation, like knowing Mike, what he can do, and see him there with Jake Paul, and Jake Paul, like, hey man, like that side just hurt me. Although, like, you have to give it to Mike, man.
Mike Tyson's health issues before his fight with Jake Paul raised concerns among fans and commentators. Tyson, known for his intense training and legendary boxing career, had been dealing with illness that impacted his preparation for the bout. Despite this, he chose to go ahead with the fight, driven by his desire to prove himself once again in the ring. Joe Rogan, during his podcast, expressed his shock and disbelief over Tyson's condition, questioning whether the fight was a wise decision given his health struggles.
We're going to find out that 58-year-old men are 58-year-old men no matter what they look like.
Right.
And Jake Paul is a 28-year-old athlete in the prime of his life.
Yeah.
It was a real...
I mean, if you just do it to yourself, right?
Yeah.
Me at 60 versus me at 28.
Right.
Forget about it, man.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan expressed deep concerns about Mike Tyson's health ahead of his fight, highlighting that Tyson is no longer in his prime. On his podcast, Rogan praised Tyson's legendary career, but stressed the risks of stepping into the ring at 58 years old. Mike's a legend, no doubt about it, but fighting at this stage of his life is a dangerous game. Rogan noted the intense physical demands of boxing, a sport that even in a fighter's prime takes a severe toll on the body. For Tyson, who has faced numerous injuries, surgeries, and health challenges over the years, these risks are magnified. Rogan pointed out that Tyson's explosiveness and endurance, key attributes of his dominant era, have naturally declined with age. He's not the same fighter who could knock out anyone in a heartbeat. His mind is sharp, but his body can't keep up. Rogan also questioned the ethical aspect of allowing such fights to happen, particularly against younger, fitter opponents like Jake Paul. He emphasized the importance of preserving Tyson's health and legacy, arguing that the focus should shift towards celebrating his achievements rather than risking unnecessary harm.
Yeah, and also there's an accumulation of injuries that everyone has.
Tell me about it.
Just no avoiding. But what I do want to get you in. I guarantee you stem cells will help that.
Right.
I've had tremendous success with stem cells.
Right. In shoulder joint?
Yeah. I was told by a doctor that I was going to have shoulder surgery.
Dana White, a prominent figure in combat sports and the president of the UFC, weighed in on an incident that recently made headlines. Mike Tyson, one of the most legendary boxers of all time, tripped while walking down the stairs. This seemingly minor event captured attention because Tyson is not just a former athlete, he is a symbol of strength and perseverance. For decades, Tyson dominated boxing rings with his ferocity and unmatched skill. Dana White's reaction to the incident wasn't dismissive. Instead, he used it as an opportunity to reflect on Tyson's humanity and tenacity. Dana said, "He's human like all of us," highlighting that Tyson, despite his larger-than-life persona, is subject to the same frailties that age and wear bring to anyone.
But he basically said, I told him, Mike, you're basically 60 years old. And he's like, you honestly think this fucking kid's going to do anything to me? He's not good. He's not going to knock me out. He's not going to do this. And you saw him. He tripped when he was walking down the thing.
White remarked on the irony that someone who once seemed indestructible in the ring can face such mundane struggles outside it. But what stood out most in Dana's commentary was his admiration for Tyson's resilience. Despite the physical toll that years of intense competition have taken on his body, Tyson continues to show up, pushing forward and embracing challenges. This moment served as a reminder of the sacrifices athletes make to achieve greatness, the relentless training, the injuries, and the mental strain compound over time. And yet Tyson remains undeterred. For fans, the story of him tripping might be a moment of levity, but for Dana White, it symbolized something far greater: Tyson's unyielding fighter mentality. The incident may have been trivial, but it sparked a renewed appreciation for the boxer's perseverance and enduring legacy.
He had a hard time walking up the stairs. He had a knee brace on, and Jake Paul couldn't do anything to him. He made a ton of money, and I know people are mad. You stayed home on a Saturday night, but you didn't pay for it. You know what I mean?
The fight between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson sparked significant debate among fans, with many questioning its legitimacy. A Twitter user named LaCal James summed up the skepticism, tweeting, "Most real boxers know Mike could have easily beat Jake in the first round before he gassed out. Jake's chin is soft and doesn't move well. He'll never beat a real boxer. Definitely was a fixed fight nonetheless." This sentiment reflects the widespread doubt surrounding the fight's authenticity and fairness. Critics argue that Tyson's performance seemed unusually restrained, suggesting he might not have fought to his full potential. Given Tyson's legendary knockout power, even at 58, many fans believed he could have ended the match early if he had pushed harder in the first round. On the other hand, Jake Paul's relatively untested skills and questionable durability added fuel to the conspiracy theories. This isn't the first time Paul's fights have drawn allegations of being fixed. Fans often cite his lack of competition against seasoned boxers, and instead fighting aging legends or fellow influencers. While no concrete evidence supports these claims, the perception persists, and LaCal James's tweet echoes a growing belief that the fight was more an entertainment spectacle than genuine athletic contest. Logan Paul recently commented on the much-discussed matchup between his brother, Jake Paul, and the legendary Mike Tyson. Reflecting on Jake's approach to the fight, Logan remarked that his brother Jake let Mike live, implying that Jake held back out of respect for the iconic boxer. Logan highlighted that Tyson, despite his age and diminished physical prowess, remains a revered figure in the sport, and Jake's decision not to go all out demonstrated a sense of restraint and sportsmanship. When asked about Tyson potentially calling him out for a fight next, Logan responded with a candid statement. He just wants money, not a fight. Logan emphasized that Tyson's motivation for continuing these exhibition bouts is largely financial. He pointed to the significant payday Tyson earned from his bout with Jake as evidence, suggesting that Tyson's focus might now be more on securing lucrative opportunities than engaging in competitive fights.
Logan, what do you make of Jake's performance tonight?
Absolutely stupendous.
What did you think of Mike Tyson?
I love Uncle Mike. He's just such a, I mean, like, that was impressive, no? For a 58-year-old? Hi, how are you?
While Logan acknowledged Tyson's desire to capitalize on his legendary status, he subtly critiqued the idea of pushing for more matches purely for monetary gain. His comments highlight the evolving landscape of modern boxing, where legacy fighters and influencers alike navigate the balance between entertainment, respect, and financial incentive. Mike Tyson's recent health struggles have also played a significant role in the narrative surrounding his comeback attempts. Earlier this year, in June, Tyson reportedly fell ill, leading to the postponement of one of his planned fights. The postponement raised concerns among fans and analysts, as it highlighted the physical toll that age and a lifetime of boxing have taken on Tyson's body. While many were eager to see him back in the ring, others questioned whether these bouts were in Tyson's best interest. In addition to his earlier illness, Tyson recently dealt with knee problems leading up to another scheduled fight. Despite the option to postpone the bout, Tyson chose to go through with it, showcasing his indomitable spirit. "I wasn't going to let my fans down," Tyson explained in a post-fight interview. This decision, while admirable, drew mixed reactions. While some praised Tyson's dedication and toughness, others criticized the fight's approval given his physical state. Tyson's determination to fight through injuries and illnesses is a testament to his warrior mentality. However, it also raises questions about the responsibilities of promoters and athletic commissions in ensuring fighter safety. Tyson's commitment to his craft is undeniable, but at what cost? His recent struggles highlight the fine line between honoring a fighter's legacy and protecting their health.
This is one of those situations when you lost, but you still won. I'm grateful for the last night, no regrets to get in the ring one last time. I almost died in June. I had 8 blood transfusions, lost half of my blood and 25 pounds in the hospital, and I had to fight back to get healthy to fight. So I won. So I want you guys to realize that. Remember, we were seeing videos of Mike Tyson sparring. We looking at him, we like, damn, he looks good. He was good. He was ready to fight. He was good until he got sick. And that's why the fight got postponed.
Regardless of recent losses or physical setbacks, Mike Tyson remains an undisputed legend in the world of sports. Even if he doesn't win every fight in his later years, his legacy as one of the greatest boxers of all time is untouchable. Tyson's dominance in the ring during his prime was unparalleled, with a record that includes 44 knockouts and some of the most memorable moments in boxing history. Tyson's influence on the sport is immeasurable. For many fans, Tyson is more than just a boxer. He is a cultural icon. His name is synonymous with power, aggression, and excellence. Even as he faces challenges outside the ring, his status as a legend remains intact. Tyson's willingness to step back into the ring, despite his age and health issues, is a testament to his passion for boxing and his desire to inspire.
First thing I see when I get on TikTok is like video after video after video of all of these people crying, feeling bad for Mike Tyson. He's an old man, this is elder abuse, like they're just one girl. Guys, Mike Tyson is fine. He went 8 rounds with a 27-year-old in 14-ounce gloves and he was still standing at the end. He earned his bag, now he's gonna go home and just hang out with his pigeons, which is what he wants to be doing. Now he can do it with the peace of mind that his bills are paid.
Critics may focus on Tyson's losses or his struggles with injuries, but his true fans understand that his greatness isn't defined by his recent fights. Instead, it is rooted in his incredible career, his resilience, and his ability to captivate audiences across generations. As Tyson himself once said, "Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth." This quote encapsulates his fearless approach to life, both inside and outside the ring.
His kids are good. His legacy is still, in fact, intact, even though he didn't win. That is also in part due to Jake Paul, who gave him the respect that he deserved. And this moment right here is going viral, and Logan Paul's getting trashed for saying this, but Tyson's like, "I'll fight Logan next," and Logan's like, "I will you." I know shit talking can be nuanced here, but that's exactly what this was. Tyson doesn't want him to bow down to him. He loved it. He loved it. So for everyone who's crying on the internet right now that can't even take it, Mike Tyson got out there and did what he loves to do. Don't feel bad for him. He's more than great, and he's $20 million richer. So he's fine.
The fight between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson has drawn significant criticism, with many accusing Jake of exploiting Tyson's age and health for his own career advancement. Critics argue that Jake called out the fight knowing full well that Tyson, at 58 years old and recovering from serious health issues, was not in the condition to compete at his peak. This has led to speculation that Jake saw the fight as a calculated move to secure an easy victory while boosting his reputation in the boxing world. Twitter user Warren Budget encapsulated this sentiment, tweeting, "Everything was safe and under control for Jake. Bro ain't stupid. He wouldn't risk his career by losing versus a 58-year-old. Mike held back at start not to KO him. Rigged and scripted." This reflects a widespread belief among fans that the fight was more of a scripted spectacle than a genuine contest. Critics point to Tyson's physical limitations and the strategic pacing of the fight, which appeared to favor Jake. They argue that Jake leveraged the situation to orchestrate a win while claiming to have beaten a boxing legend. For many, the bout felt less like a sporting event and more like a prearranged opportunity for Jake to bolster his career at Tyson's expense. Dr. Bryan, a noted medical expert, has raised serious concerns about the legitimacy of Mike Tyson's recent fights. In light of Tyson's health issues, including a past neck surgery, Dr. Bryan questioned whether these fights should have been approved at all. The doctor pointed out that Tyson's neck surgery significantly limits his mobility and puts him at greater risk of injury in the ring. Dr. Bryan stated, "Boxing is a dangerous sport even for young, healthy athletes." He added, "For someone with Tyson's medical history, it's potentially life-threatening." His comments have sparked debate about the ethical responsibilities of athletic commissions and promoters when dealing with older fighters. Should Tyson, given his medical condition, have been allowed to fight? And if so, were the necessary precautions taken to ensure his safety?
I don't think this fight should have ever happened. I think it says a lot of bad things about the combat sports world and sets a really dangerous precedent going forward. We're gonna talk about the whole fight clearance approval process and then just physiologically why he looked the way he did. There's a lot of just true anatomy and physiology changes that explain why Tyson looked so bad and play a role in why this type of thing should not happen. So how did this fight even happen or get approved? Each state has an athletic commission that governs licenses for combat sports. It's not a national standard, it's state by state, and there's a wide variety of medical clearance processes and rules in place from one state to another. That probably played some role in where this fight happened because Texas has some of the more lenient medical clearance processes.
Dr. Bryan's concerns extend beyond Tyson's physical health to the integrity of the sport itself. He argued that allowing a fighter with significant medical issues to compete undermines the credibility of boxing as a regulated professional sport. While fans may enjoy the nostalgia of seeing Tyson in the ring, the risks involved cannot be ignored. Dr. Bryan's warnings serve as a reminder that even legends like Tyson are not invincible and that their health should always come first.
And so a boxer needs to have very good fine motor control to have that ability to understand where his punches are going, to be able to react quickly and have that coordination. As you age and get to be Tyson's age, you have expected atrophy, shrinkage of that cerebellum, which means it's not going to function as well. It's why older people have slower reaction time. And so of course you're going to expect a 58-year-old with normal physiologic brain atrophy to have slower reaction time compared to someone as young as Jake Paul. The other thing, neurologically speaking, is we know that Tyson has had a history of terrible neck problems. He's had neck surgery. He's talked about how all those bridges that he did completely wrecked his spine. And one real possibility is that he has some spinal or cervical stenosis.
Despite the setbacks, injuries, and criticisms, Mike Tyson's spirit remains unbroken. His willingness to fight through adversity is a testament to his character and his love for the sport of boxing. Tyson's story is one of triumph, resilience, and an unwavering commitment to greatness. While his recent fights may not showcase the explosive power and dominance of his prime, they reveal something even more profound: a fighter who refuses to give up. Tyson's journey is a reminder that greatness isn't just about winning. It's about perseverance, courage, and the ability to inspire others.
So Mike Tyson just had a little medical scare before his fight with Jake Paul. Yeah, if you needed another reason why this fight shouldn't happen, Mike Tyson literally just got done having a 30-minute dizziness and nausea spell that has absolutely no reasoning for why it happened. I'm sorry, if you're having a 30-minute dizziness and nausea spell 2 months before having a boxing match, when you are considered an elderly man, you probably shouldn't be fighting this guy. Like, understand, we've basically gotten to this point that I don't know if I want this to be a completely fixed event or I want this to be a legit boxing match. Like, I'm sorry, if you think that Jake Paul beating Mike Tyson, and the only way that that could happen is if Mike Tyson takes a dive.
His willingness to face younger opponents, even under less than ideal circumstances, highlights his love for the sport and his desire to challenge himself. Tyson's legacy isn't tarnished by these late career matches. Instead, it's elevated by his ability to embrace adversity with dignity. The ability to rise after setbacks, to fight even when the odds seem overwhelming, is what makes him a true icon of perseverance. For Tyson, boxing has always been about more than winning. It's a metaphor for life where the true champions are those who keep moving forward despite the punches they take. Whether he wins or loses, his legacy remains one of unwavering commitment to his craft and an unparalleled ability to inspire generations, proving that the spirit of a fighter never fades, even when the body grows older.
I don't know what to tell you. Mike Tyson is an elderly man. He's an elderly man. Jake Paul, I'm sorry, is objectively like a pretty good athlete. I'm not saying that Jake Paul in his prime versus Mike Tyson in his prime is competitive. That's not what I'm arguing at all. I am arguing a dude who has damn near infinite resources, right? Infinite training time. Doesn't really have to do anything else. Fighting an elderly man who, yes, was one of the greatest heavyweight boxers of all time, is an elderly man who is now having medical issues. I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you. Like, the good news is that if I find out that this entire fight is rigged...
In a world that often focuses on victories and records, Tyson stands out as a symbol of something greater. He reminds us that legends are not defined by their latest performance, but by the legacy they leave behind. For Mike Tyson, that legacy is secure. Whether he's tripping on stairs, fighting through injuries, or facing criticism, Tyson remains a true champion in every sense of the word.
And that, oh, well, Mike Tyson was just meant to make it competitive, but he was going to take a dive right afterwards. Like, that might be better than finding out that Mike Tyson is actually having medical issues and he gets horrifically KO'd by Jake Paul. Like, you tell me, like, what is a valid reason for keeping this fight going? Because I can't find any.
After his loss to Jake Paul, Mike Tyson took to Twitter to share a heartfelt message reflecting on the experience. He wrote, "This is one of those situations when you lost but still won. I'm grateful for last night. No regrets to get in the ring one last time. I almost died in June. Had 8 blood transfusions, lost half of my blood and 25 pounds in hospital, and had to fight to get healthy to fight. So I won." Tyson's words carried a sense of gratitude and pride, showing that for him, the fight was about more than just the outcome. It was about the journey and his personal personal triumphs. In the same message, Tyson revealed the immense health challenges he faced earlier in the year, making his return to the ring even more remarkable. "I almost died in June," Tyson shared, explaining that he underwent 8 blood transfusions after losing half of his blood and 25 pounds while hospitalized. His battle to recover and rebuild his strength in time for the fight underscored his resilience and determination. Tyson's ability to step back into the ring after such a harrowing ordeal speaks volumes about his legendary spirit. While he may not have won the match, his message made it clear that simply being able to fight again was a victory in itself, inspiring fans worldwide with his courage and perseverance. This heartfelt message emphasized his gratitude and resilience while addressing significant health challenges leading up to the match. From the outset, the matchup between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson raised eyebrows, with many questioning its fairness. At 58 years old, Tyson is far removed from his prime, a time when he was one of the most feared boxers in history. In contrast, Jake Paul, at 27, is in peak physical condition and actively competing in a sport that demands relentless training and agility. The stark age gap alone created an imbalance, prompting fans and experts to debate whether this fight should have taken place at all.
Okay, so last night was the Mike Tyson-Jake Paul fight, and let's just be honest, right? Who really thought this was actually going to be any good? I mean, the best punch landed was in the face-off. It wasn't even during the fight. And now everybody this morning's yelling about how dare they even put this on television. And I hear you, but like, let's be honest. It's not the worst thing that AT&T Stadium has put on television this year. This was always just a gimmick fight. I mean, the only good thing that actually came out of this fight is the women's fight before it. That was a fantastic fight. I mean, somebody got screwed in that one, but whatever. But now Jake Paul's out here chirping that he wants Canelo.
Dr. Todd Grande, a clinical psychologist and commentator known for analyzing public figures and events, shared his perspective on the fight between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul, focusing on the glaring 31-year age gap. He noted that Tyson's performance, while commendable for a man of his age, demonstrated clear physical limitations that ultimately defined the bout. Tyson's energy visibly diminished after the first 3 rounds, Dr. Grande observed, reinforcing the widespread belief that the fight lacked genuine competitive balance from the outset. This analysis highlights the stark contrast between the two fighters. Jake Paul, at 27 years old, is in his physical prime and has the advantage of recent, consistent training. Tyson, on the other hand, at 58, is far removed from the explosive athlete he was in his younger years. Dr. Grande's remarks emphasize the natural effects of aging, as Tyson's endurance and speed began to wane after the initial rounds, leaving little chance of a comeback.
Now moving to my analysis. The 31-year disparity in age in this fight was the largest age difference in the history of professional boxing. During Mike Tyson's prime, he could have easily destroyed Jake Paul, probably in the first round. But at 58 years old, Mike was not an effective fighter. This fight was like watching a cassette player trying to keep up with Spotify. Mike had been known for having plenty of power, fast hands, accurate punching, and impeccable timing for counterpunching. None of those characteristics were evident during this fight. One could argue Mike Tyson aged 3 years every round. When he started the fight, he was 58.
The unevenness of the match raised ethical questions about whether such fights should even be sanctioned. Tyson's iconic legacy and warrior spirit remain intact, but putting him in the ring against a much younger, healthier opponent drew criticism. Dr. Grande's observations align with concerns from fans and analysts who argue that the fight was more of an entertainment spectacle than a fair contest. Ultimately, the bout underscored the importance of considering not only the physical readiness of fighters, but also the broader implications for the sport's credibility. While Tyson's participation brought attention and excitement, his noticeable decline during the fight revealed the inherent imbalance in putting a retired legend against a much younger competitor. Dr. Grande's analysis captures these complexities, shedding light on the delicate line between nostalgia and competition.
Mike's output was pathetic. He could not seem to get into a rhythm. His offense was terrible, and his balance was insufficient. Jake Paul appeared to be trying hard in the first few rounds, but relaxed and did just enough to win each round after that. After the fight, he admitted that he decided not to inflict any unnecessary pain, and he eased up on Mike Tyson. He said, quote, "I wanted to give the fans a show, but I didn't want to hurt someone that didn't need to be hurt," unquote. His behavior isn't surprising considering the ill-advised nature of this gross mismatch. If a concern for safety creates a situation where a boxer will not fight their hardest through all the rounds, it is not a real boxing match. Jake Paul has a reputation for not being a real boxer. He often selects opponents who are not boxers or who are not in their prime.
Tyson's legacy as a boxing icon is unquestionable, but time inevitably affects every athlete, no matter how great. His speed, power, and endurance, once unmatched, have naturally diminished with age. On the other hand, Jake Paul is a younger, hungrier fighter, riding a wave of momentum in his burgeoning boxing career. Critics argued that the fight leaned too heavily in Jake's favor, turning it into a spectacle rather than a true competition. Despite the concerns, Tyson's willingness to step into the ring demonstrated his undying warrior spirit. For him, the fight was less about winning and more about proving his resilience and passion for the sport. However, the age and physical disparity remain at the heart of ongoing debates about the legitimacy of such matchups.
That's a real fighter, sir. That's somebody who's still fighting and wins constantly. And to be fair to me, he beat Mayweather. I mean, that was a screw job and a half. And I mean, we knew exactly what was going to happen. Paul was going to win, Tyson was going to lose, and I think that's horrible. I think Mike Tyson never should have signed up for something he was rigged to lose. I mean, Iron Mike, one of the baddest, if not the baddest boxers ever to walk the planet. And he signed a contract just to get a payday. And look, I get what I'm going to say is going to get a lot of heat, but it notches him down to me. Greatest of all time is not what I think he is anymore. It really leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned until next time.